Live from Las Vegas, Nevada. You're watching Shaking It Up with the Sharks. Starring Johnny Richardson and Katie Meadows.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode of Shaking It Up with the Sharks. My name's Johnny Richardson, your host, and of course, the lovely Katie Meadows. Hi. Tonight, you're in for a treat. We have Mr. Gonzalez in the house here, the tax man, business credit, handsome. He's just got it all under control. I should have led with handsome because he's just a lady killer out there, even though he has a beautiful wife right behind the camera. Very fortunate. But he is the man. Definitely knows his stuff. He's numbers man. He is the guy you want to know. So anyway, Robert, what's going on, my friend?
A lot of things. Thank God, thanks for the invite.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Helping people get their business, credit formation is one of the things now that a lot of people are getting into, and I'm blessed to be a part of that. It's kind of a thing right now where small businesses are looking for, because of the PPP loans and the EIDL loans, now they're looking at what else can I do in order to grow my company. And the things out there right now are the business credits, where you get a nice foundation in which you could grow your company and build a really good, base of loans, or you get credit cards. Some of them you get them at 0% interest. And that helps you not only grow your business or invest in other businesses. You could do whatever you want once you get that credit. So.
Yeah, it's the power, like they always say, money is the power, but it really is at the end of the day.
Right.
And especially you go ahead and get that business credit and use it, whether you're in real estate, towards flipping properties, or you're an investor, or you're building something, or even probably even in a tech company, name it, the list goes on, am I right?
That is correct.
I mean, all areas, even a babysitter at one scale at the end of the day. Sky's the limit out there, whatever it might be. So you have that going on. What brought you into that business anyway? I'm curious.
Be honest, when back in the days in 2002, 2003, I was in the mortgage business.
Okay.
And I did really well. And I opened up my own branch after 2 years in the business. And I was doing everything with my own money. And one guy came over from a credit repair company, and they were doing business credit as well. And it was a big education because I'd never heard of it. So he said, listen, you need to learn how to get business credit under your business. You'll be able to do a lot more things. And all of a sudden I started doing business credit for myself. He started helping me. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. I didn't know, I could really do this. My bank never ever offered me anything
even close.
Right. They were fighting with me when I came up with all the checks. They needed the cash. I couldn't get all my money.
Dump it in a CD and get you like nothing back.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why doesn't the bank tells me about this? Why, when I'm putting out all this money in the bank every single week, and why don't they offer that to me directly? So banks are not in the business of doing the business credit,
So why is that? Why do you think that is?
It's very simple. They want you to sign everything off and personal guarantee everything. So you're in, they could go after you if you don't pay that back.
So they got you just like this at the end of the day.
Right.
Opposed to having business credit, you have a lot more leverage. God forbid things go south, correct?
That is correct. Now, there's a lot that you can build in business credit where you don't have to have no personal guarantees. And then after you build that, then for the bigger lines of credit, then you have to do some personal guarantees, but you're not all in for that. So if the business go down, for whatever reason, economy goes upside down, like it's happened before, or anything happens in the business, you're not liable for that money that was used through the business credit. The business went down, you're not personally liable for it. So that's why one of the things that we have to do is not commingle funds. Make sure that you do your personal finances separate from your business finances. And then you keep a track of all your finances. That's what you're supposed to do by law. You're supposed to keep records of everything that you make, everything that you spend, and put it all in a place where they could come and check, So a lot of people don't do that, and I didn't do that neither. because we're thrown into the business. We get focused on making money. We get focused on doing all the things that we want to do, but we're moving so much and so fast that we forget to organize our finances in a way that
Until like the last day of the year.
until the last day they go with a big box of receipts, and people don't realize that that's not the way to do it, and you're leaving yourself out there, because if you're building assets, then you're putting those assets at risk.
Yeah.
And IRS could come back 10 years. They could let you get nice and fat and with all these houses
they
and
don't
all
want to
these
come in
things.
too early because you're in the growth stage.
Exactly.
Let me wait till this thing matures. They're waiting for the cow to get nice and fat.
Right.
And then they're coming to butcher away. They're like,
take all that money out.
Goodbye, little Susie.
The IRS is listening, by the way.
What's that?
The IRS is listening.
Oh,
to
yeah.
Oh, I
love
didn't
them.
say anything.
Yeah, I love them. I love them.
I love going against the IRS, and this is the thing why. Because IRS gives you all these rules that you can follow in order to save money, put money away where you don't have to pay any taxes on through life insurance. And a lot of those programs are out there, but you could do it in the LLC as well. You could put that money into an LLC, build a 401k for the people that work for you, yourself, your spouse. You can have your kids in your corporation if they do any work in the company. It's a lot of ways that you can save money where you don't have to pay taxes now. You can pay taxes later. And then once you build a nice portfolio on your 401ks or whatever instrument that you're using in order to save money, you can use some of that money and invest it into real estate, into other businesses, and still grow the money without paying taxes on it until you retire. So
what about you mentioned life insurance. What life insurance products are you talking about? Like whole life products you recommend for doing something like that?
there is a combination of whole life products and UILs,
IULs,
in which you could form, and then that combination, you could create your own bank. I don't know if you heard about creating your own bank.
Yeah, so and correct me if I'm wrong. I've been, because we met through the insurance business. I knew a little bit, but on the whole life programs, maybe we're this way before. We didn't pay much attention to them then, to where you could go ahead and you could build that product, and you can actually put your money into the product, and then you use the product to pay your bills. Is that what you mean?
That is
Pay
correct.
your expenses, okay.
You pay your bills, you can pay your expenses, you could actually, the money that you have in there still grows the same amount that you put in, and then if you keep putting more money, it's growing and gaining interest, and then you're borrowing for it, but that money still keeps growing, and you could use it and pay yourself back, or not. You have that choice not to. And then you could do all those things in that instrument if it's built correctly, in which you're going to grow an enormous amount of money without paying any taxes. Because you could
What rate of
literally
return
do
are
it.
you getting on that product?
Anywhere between 10 to 13%.
Are you?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, which
Yeah, I
is
had no
insanity.
idea. Yeah, that is pretty good.
So I
Does it have a floor?
I have a whole team of people that dedicates themselves to doing that.
Really?
So I kind of build, this is what they're doing, this is what they're focused on, this is what they're doing. I used to be in the insurance business before, but I'm not. So I know the products that are out there.
How to
and I
advise your
use them.
clients on, and because when I ever bring your name up, I'm just like, that's my money guy right there. That's Robert, a money guy. I'm like, yeah, I just ask him whatever to do, and I just listen to him. So you're just eyeing everybody up, is what you're saying. Not selling that you're not the insurance guy, but like, this is what your problem is. This is what you have happening. Okay, we're gonna put you over here in Xbox, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, I didn't mean to say Xbox like the game, but Box X. Yeah, as far as that goes. But
Well-
yeah, that's really interesting. The reason why is somebody pitched me on it like a year ago, and I just wasn't the right time.
Now it's sounding interesting.
It is. It's been in the back of my head. It's good that we talked tonight, because I've been meaning to ask Robert forever. Yeah, as far as that goes. So that's good to know that's a good product out there. And you have life insurance, because that is on my mind
Right.
at the end of the day as well, because it is important to have. And this is not a life insurance pitch. This is
Not at all.
It is actually,
Yeah.
it is actually important as far as
No,
that goes.
I don't. I tell people because I know is the right thing to do if you're making a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody. Not everybody has that extra money, but if you do have that extra money, and depends on what kind of income level you're at, then it's the thing to do. And a lot of people, they need that guidance. They need that guidance because in business, you have certain times where you make good money. And then you got times that, that you're going through things in order to sustain what you have. So unless you keep growing and growing and growing and growing into different, income streams, I definitely tell people you got to look at putting money away so you could have that little safety net at the end of the day.
Yeah, 100%. No, it definitely makes sense. So going back to mortgages, you mentioned it was 2003. How long have you actually been in Vegas?
I've been in Vegas, believe it or not, for, damn, I got to tell you my age? Okay.
Oh, don't give it out, mid-30s.
About 40 years.
40 years. Holy smokes. So what was this city like when you first came out here?
Oh, it was very little. I mean, a lot of things, I don't know if Durango was built. There was a lot of things that weren't built. I went to Centennial. It was a dirt road to go to Centennial.
Literally.
Yeah, when I bought my house, it was dirt roads the whole way there.
You were like on a horse.
Yeah. You had to cross the river, go the horse halfway. Yeah, it was crazy.
It's like, what was even out there on a dirt road?
It was dirt, but it was houses, nice houses for, I think we bought our first house for $135,000.
Really?
Yeah, and it was 1,800 square feet, big ceilings. It was amazing. It was really cool.
It was off.
It was good days.
It just blows my mind being on a dirt road out here in Vegas.
Yeah.
Thought I'd never see something like that. I'd more likely to see something like that in Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
I lived out in Craig and Ann Road, and I was like in 85, and there was nothing out there either. It's just.
Why'd you live out there?
I don't know. My mom moved us out there.
Really? Man, everybody wants to be far away from everything.
I know.
Holy, wonder what you're up to. That's so weird.
We used to throw, when we were in high school, we used to throw cake parties over there.
Oh, did you?
Really?
Yeah, by Craig Road. And
Yeah.
it was nothing. It was desert.
It was all desert.
So we didn't have a place to go, so we just go put lights up and have a party.
Really? Nobody bothered you?
Nobody bothered you.
See, over in
Jersey
Jersey,
houses
it was places out in the woods that we go out to and do stuff like that no cops are ever finding. But every once in a while, the cops would find out. It was so hard to see them because all the woods, and they'd be parked down the street.
They had a tag on you.
Jeez, man. A lot of trouble when I was a kid. There was plenty of times I was the one taken away. One time I had my car parked out, and everybody took off, and they went running into the woods. Cops showed up, and I'm like, I'll just sit this out. I'm sitting there for like half an hour, and they're like, on the big speaker, Mr. Johnny Richardson, we are towing your car. If you want to come out, you're more than welcome. If not, the car is gone. And I'm like, oh, these guys got me. And I come walking out, and then it was a total setup. No tow truck was even coming. And they were like, oh, we just want to ask you, what's that case of beer doing on your front seat? And I'm like, here we go. They're like, turn around, son. You're going to the jail. There we go. I did hard time.
Yeah.
At least
24 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah.
2 hours, at
At
least.
2 hours of hard time. So anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent here. So there was nothing out there in Vegas at that time. So you watched this city grow like crazy, huh?
Yeah, it was one road to go to Henderson. That's
Really?
it. Yeah, you go through that one road, you see, I mean, when I came back from the military, going to Henderson, I got lost. I was like, what the hell? I mean, this is a whole bunch. I was gone for a little bit. And it
How
was
long were you gone?
For about 7 years.
7 years in the military?
No, I did 4 and 3 months active, but I went to Puerto Rico and went to college over there. And I actually play a little semi-pro basketball.
Oh, I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah.
Did you play with any big names over there? Because I know some of these big players will go out of the country.
They're
Or
my
Puerto
age,
Rico's in the
but they probably, people probably don't know.
No, no idea. No.
They have no idea.
No.
No, I let me see. No. People, I mean, I had one of the best coaches out of Puerto Rico. His name was Julio Toro, which he used to coach the Pan American games. Yeah, they play, and then he coached actually other countries as well.
Really?
It was that good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it
that's
was
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So what was 4 years and 3 months in the Navy like? Did you like it?
I actually loved it. I kind of needed it.
Did
You know,
you?
I
You're
grew
a
up with
bad
my
kid,
mother, and I was like my father growing up, you know? So it was kind of cool, you know, so you got to follow a bunch of rules, which I never did when I was little, you know? And, you know, thank God I got married, you know, because I used to look really good to go to work. You got to look sharp, you know, nice and you know, and good.
What state
So-
were you living in when you were in the Navy?
I went to Staten Island, New York, my first year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm coming out of Puerto Rico and Staten Island, New York, and first day I think I was in, they had me paint the ship on the side because some admiral was walking down the pier. And I had my hands like this on the brush, and they put me down with this little plank and a little, you know, little rope down to the middle of the ship, and I'm like,
Oh my goodness.
oh my God,
just
this is
hanging.
what I joined.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Were you stationed there the whole 4 years?
No, I was stationed there for close to a year.
So you were hanging by a plank down this big ship.
Yeah.
And down, was it over water, I guess?
It was over water.
But it was still
cold.
far.
Yeah.
It was like, I mean, if you went ahead and dropped, it still would have stunk.
Yeah.
So would you have a paint
Really?
bucket attached to you and you're up there,
And you're doing this, painting little rusty spots.
you're
that,
doing like the
because,
Mr. Miyagi
Yeah,
Oh
thing.
my goodness.
yeah,
Okay, really?
yeah.
Holy smokes, yeah. These guys are cleaning these windows. I love it. When I get
That's
out there.
crazy. Gotta be
John sits
crazy.
there and films them when
I
they're
do.
around.
I'm always tapping
Yeah.
on, like, "What's up, man?" But it's not far off. I'm sure. Not really. It's not far off. They have a little piece of wood they sit on, and just wrapped up on their legs. Rope runs all the way up here and all the way
The
down. They
suction
start
cups.
at they do suction cups or like right there. Just suction off, clean, just like a regular window.
That's insanity.
It
Yeah,
is.
I
Yeah,
remember.
I would die. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
there's no
back
way
then,
I could do it.
Yeah, I had to do it, but yeah, it was kind of, you know, I knew that because I'm new, and that's why. And then every new guy that came in, they did the same thing too. So I knew that was the reason why. So you could get used. That was like probably the worst things you
How
could do.
long do you have to do that for?
The Navy, well,
The painting of the ships.
the painting the ships, probably the first couple of years. Then once you get ranked, then you managing other people. So yeah, so we have like the biggest crew on board the ships because we're the ones that, you know, we navigate the ship, we operate the cranes, we pull in the ship, you know.
Were you on any ships of aircraft carrier type that planes would take off?
I was on a FFG-16, which is like if we go out to war and they throw a missile or torpedo, we supposed to go get in between and get hit. So
It
that
was
was not a good ship. That first
No.
ship was not a good ship.
Yeah.
So
It
that
was not-
ship was supposed to absorb
I
the
was-
hit.
yeah.
It had to be a strong ship though.
Yeah, but no, we're just protecting the big ships, and that was
Really?
that. Yeah.
So you're just like,
thank God that never happened.
yeah, you're just
Yeah.
some extra treats out there.
That's
like
it, yeah.
Send in the little guys.
We were the bait. Yeah.
Really? Holy crap.
So on the next ship that I was, we decommissioned that ship after a year. Then we commissioned LSD-50, which is USS Carter Hall, which is more like an amphibious ship. So now we had Marines on board. We were like a taxi cab for Marines. So yeah, we have the back bow, which it goes into the water, and then we have all these little boats and ships that
Just come out the back
come
end.
out, and Marines should just plunge out. So when they hit the beach,
Really?
So, yeah.
On all those little tank type things.
little tank type things, yeah.
Really? And it would hold hundreds, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. That'd be an experience, though. That'd be
Thank
really
God.
cool.
That's yeah. It was kind of tough. I heard, you know, it was really tough on them, on the Marines.
Was it?
Because as soon as you leave the ship, it just goes down, and like all your blood goes right to your head, and then all of a sudden when you hit down, then all the blood goes back, and then it's just horrible to
Wow.
maintain your
Really?
Oh yeah, you got to once you do it a few times, maybe you get used to it, but yeah, it's pretty tough.
It's kind of like a roller coaster. So
Yeah.
when they would dump out, it wasn't graceful. They were like
Oh, no,
dumped
not
out
at all.
and like thrown out of their basic. Oh, I thought they were just like driving out, floating across.
Yeah.
Not so much like that. Did they have like peanuts on the ride or anything? Or waters and
I don't
stuff?
think they get served. I don't think they had.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing like that.
Yeah,
That's
no.
pretty wild. So anyway, you did the Navy, you did that and then 4 years, 3 months. You went over to Puerto Rico and then back to Vegas again.
Came back here.
Yeah.
I was then I joined the reserves for another 8 years.
Okay.
So I did the reserves, which we did a lot of things. I became a bartender because my brother
Where
was a
at?
bartender. I was a bartender, bar back first at the Gold Coast. That was my first job out here. So it was pretty cool.
Was it?
She was a cocktail waitress. My wife was.
Oh,
Is that where you met at?
No, I met her in Puerto Rico. That's even a better story.
Oh,
if you wanna
really?
hear it,
Really?
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
So you're out there, hanging out, just being a good guy. You got
Yeah.
a nice woman that came along. Good for you.
Actually, when I left New York at 6 years old and moved to Puerto Rico, I lived on the street where she lived. She literally lived right across the street when we were little kids. I told her that. I know she was hitting on me back then. She don't remember, but that kind of happened.
She doesn't have the same story.
Yeah, I don't think she does. So when I came back to Puerto Rico when I was older, I went to the street to visit some of my friends from the same street from my childhood. So when I went there, she knew one of my managers where I used to work. I used to work at McDonald's.
Did you?
Good job in Puerto Rico, by the way.
Really?
Well, back then it was, I was young.
Yeah.
I was like, 19, 20? I was young, and I went, and I met her, so it was great. It was a great job. So she worked at the clothing store next door, so she went in, and she ordered something, and I didn't know what to say to her, She was beautiful, and I was trying to say something to her. So I saw her picking the pickles out of the burger, and I was like, yes, this is my opportunity. And I went, and I said, you know what, you could order that without pickles. And she literally, went off on me. Like, who you think you are? You don't think I know that? And I'm like, oh my God. Oh Lord. So I took my little hat, went back to, work, and then I saw her that she said hi to one of my managers, which was my friend. So I was like, hey, you know her? Yeah. So she came back again, and, I literally, when she told me where she lived, I said, don't worry about it. I'm going to come by the neighborhood. She says, like, you don't even know me. You don't know anybody. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. So I went to ask one of my childhood friends. They weren't there. Their mother was there. And I said, I'm looking for this girl. She's, tiny. And I described her. And she said, she lives over there. So I ended up
That's
showing
so
up at her house.
funny.
Really?
Well, nowadays you don't have to. You just look up Facebook.
Now you got Facebook. Now you got all that.
Yeah, if you walk around neighborhood asking questions like that, now you get shot. They're like,
That's
"Ooh,
true.
creeper,
Yeah.
got a creeper."
Hey,
Load up
exactly.
the gun, everybody.
Yeah, you can't do that nowadays. Yeah.
yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Not the same. Not the same.
Yeah, you'll get halfway to the house and you got 10 cops on you. Like, hey there, guy. It's not flying in this
Not
hood.
happening.
That's pretty interesting. Well, that's good stuff. So back around, opened the mortgage company. Now you're doing taxes, the business credit. And how long have you been doing taxes for?
I've been doing taxes. I would say about now 7, 8 years now.
What brought you into doing taxes?
This funny story. I don't know if you know. Well, Toto company, right?
Yep.
They started doing taxes, I think, in right after the crash, like 2009, maybe 2010. And they invited me over so I could be part of the company and whatnot. And I was like, why would I do taxes? I'm a loan officer. I make great money doing loans, even though the economy was down and whatnot, recovering. And I never took a big interest, but I went through all their classes that they used to give, support them and whatnot. And
They did used to do a lot of taxes.
they
A
blew
lot
up.
of classes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Every
that's
year.
back when we were in
Yeah.
World Financial Group, they would do a lot of
Yes.
classes.
Yes.
I remember there was one of the guys that would come in from time to time.
Right. Oscar, which is one of the owners, he used to do the classes, and he's a pretty good teacher. He did really good classes. Did classes on the software, did classes on the taxes, and I went through all the classes. As a loan officer, you look at taxes to see their income and their finances all the time. So I kind of had a good understanding, but I didn't understand the software on the tax side. So I started learning the tax software through them, and it was very interesting to me. But I didn't see like a big money making during the taxes. And I know it takes time to build. At that time, when they opened up the company, they started blowing up. So they had one office, and next year they had 2 offices, and the year after they had 4. I was like, what the heck is going
Caught your
on?
eye.
So it caught my eye, and I'm still friends with them and hanging out. Still don't get involved. I'm like, you know what? I have to move forward, and do something which I could build really nice and build a portfolio on it and go back to that. I didn't want to go back to loans because I did that, done it. And I want to have something in which I could really be of help and do that. I got my real estate license, didn't do a whole lot with it. I had my insurance license, didn't do a whole lot with it. And I was like, because I was trying to do too many things at once. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna do anything else. I'm just gonna focus on taxes and build my business. It took a while, did 20, 30, 40, and then it took a while in order to grow and get to people and talk to people about getting the taxes done. But I was able to grow my business. I was able to help a lot of people, and I always help a lot of people. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stick to all the things that I know and try to help people grow in what they're doing, and try to see if they could avoid the mistakes that I made when I was making really good money. So because I understand that we get caught up in businesses and we forget about our finances and our organization through our finances, which help us not only get to the level that we want, to surpass it and move on to the next level. So people, a lot of people that I see that have the potential of making, a whole lot more money than they're making now, is with the people that I want to work with. Gotcha. I look for work ethic. I work for, this is what they do. They could brand themselves as what they do. And I look for their hunger. That's the kind of people I want to work with. And I choose who I work with. I don't work with everybody. I don't take on everybody.
So if Joe Schmo calls you, says, hey, let's build it, but he's got horrible work ethic. Right. It's like, why get involved? It's going to be a waste of your time and his time.
Right, because he needs to want it more than I do. It's his business, and I'm gonna be like an outsourced CFO in their business. I'm gonna make sure that they do right moves with their finances. I want to make sure that they grow and they implement all the rules that they need to implement in order to save money and pay their taxes accordingly. Not fall in back where their assets are at risk after they sacrifice.
How much of that do you
so
see anyway, where people are just overloaded with taxes and it's just sucking them down?
A lot.
I'm sure.
I see people come to me and haven't paid taxes in 10, 15 years. I had a
How do you even pull that off?
Yeah.
I thought after.
That's me. I don't understand how did they pull it off, but it's happened.
At a certain point, do you like the IRS is threatening to take you to jail?
Yeah. That's what
I mean, like I would think after 5+ years.
Yeah.
Don't quote me. You know better than me.
They have a 10-year where if they don't come after you, if you did your taxes. That's why I tell everybody, you need to do your taxes. One thing is doing your taxes and owing money, and one thing is not doing your taxes and owing money.
So these people, 10 or 15 years, they did them but never paid?
Some did some of them, and then, and they never paid.
Just never did nothing.
And those people may have that money forgiven if they had never came after them. If they came after them, after they have 10-year window to come after. If they don't come after you, then you don't owe that money. And they forgive a lot of it. But you have to do your taxes. So I tell people, listen, I don't care if you owe and you don't have the money to pay. Do your taxes. Who cares? You're putting up a bill. You can't pay them. You can't pay them. You know what I mean? But do your taxes.
They won't send you to jail for that, huh? You can just let
They
it stack up.
don't exactly. They don't send you
Really?
jail. Yeah, they send you to jail when you try to avoid
Paying or filing.
your taxes. Now,
Really?
if you owe money and there's a substantial amount of money and you have all these assets, if they come after you, they're gonna get it.
Yeah.
You know. So what you want to do is you want to get ahead of the curve. So
even if you have it in an LLC or a trust, they could still touch it.
they can yeah.
So you're better off putting in like your former Jim's name.
Well, if you see the people with a lot of money, they have a lot of debt,
Yeah.
but at the same time they have a nice life.
Okay.
So it's a combination of, depends on what you're trying to do and where you're at financially. It's a combination of all those little things. So you could create a lot of debt, but not really, and have a nice life. And you could create, you could invest and keep investing. The best thing to do is invest. The best thing to do is invest.
Yeah.
Invest
take
all you
that
can.
money, put it into something.
Put it in
else.
invest.
Just-
Because money makes money. And then investments, believe it, it's a big write-offs. So, and you have a lot of write-offs out there, you keep investing, and people say, well, why you do that? Well, you're building assets. You're gonna need that money eventually. You're gonna have a lot of money to do whatever you need to do. You just gotta be patient and invest. Put that money to work as soon as you can and put it out there. Put it out there. Invest in things that you know.
What things are you suggesting to invest into right now?
I suggest that they come see you for that.
Well, there you go. Well, that
for
good
real
one.
estate. Because
Good plug.
Yes,
I
it is.
like that one.
yeah, real estate is one of the best
Yeah.
investments you could do for tax purposes. It's actually the best thing you can do.
The best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Now, how do you, as far as real estate now versus when you got started in mortgages? I believe 100%. I'm curious your opinion. I think real estate period is a no lose. Like, it's never going to disappear. It goes through its ups and downs at the end of the day, and there's so much you can do with riding the wave on either side of it. Yeah, sure. Is it going to reset at some point? Nothing ever stays up forever, but if it does, whether you buy and hold, move a renter in, or whatever it might be, or maybe you're investing in flipping properties, the list goes on and on at the end of the day. How do you feel?
I feel right now, because of everything that is going on in the economy right now is telling me there's going to be an adjustment, but nothing crazy like it happened before. It's telling me that actually real estate prices in Vegas, they might stay at a level where they're going to be high.
Yeah.
Higher than they were in previous times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a lot of old properties, considering for us old is what, 60s and 70s?
Yeah.
That's extremely old. 85 is old for us, but different states have different rules.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you go to other states, there's parts of Jersey, there's houses in their 40s.
Yeah.
People love them. I think they look ugly, but, but people love them. They do. They love doing whatever they do with them.
Yeah.
But here in Vegas, you're 100% right. We're just walking a property the other day. I think it was built in 71, and I'm looking around. I'm like, whoa, look at this thing. Sunken living rooms, double ovens, all this stuff. And I'm like, most people that are shopping in Vegas, they won't even go near it. Like, what year is it? Ooh, no way. It's not going to happen. But yeah, we don't have a lot, but there's some out there in that year range.
Yeah. And there's a lot of opportunity for investments. You need to open your eyes to the things that are not here, that are not available as much. Like, I believe, properties with property are really good to buy, even if they're really old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We have a big yard here.
Yeah, it's huge. I see that.
I know, it's huge. Look at it.
Yeah.
It just goes all
How
the way
much is
back
your
to
water
the-
bill?
Yeah.
Your water bill's got to be huge. Yeah, you got to water all this stuff.
Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect. It is what it is.
So I think there's just a lot of opportunity out here.
Okay.
So investors will always be coming into Vegas looking for good real estate agents that like you, in order to guide them the right way to put their money into places that are going to grow. Remember, some areas here weren't big. Downtown wasn't big before, and all of a sudden it got big.
Yeah.
And a lot of different areas weren't that big, and now they're getting their sections 10. People are going in there buying them and building bigger houses because there's opportunity of growth, of making money. and there's a lot of job opportunities. There's new hotels, new businesses coming in town. So when you see all this money coming into town and the money that's already here, this is going to be protected in order for real estate to really boom. And yeah, it's a great place to be in order to see a lot of movement, you know?
Yeah. No, it is. Vegas, I mean, I don't say it just because we live here, but it is. There's so much movement in the city, it's ridiculous. Always has. Even COVID affected everybody, but even during COVID, we had a pretty good life out here in Vegas. I mean, we weren't as restricted as most other places. You still were doing your dinners and everything else. And ever since, the whole summer's been on fire out here.
Yeah.
Definitely is. And real estate market's been pretty steady. Granted, I wasn't here in 2008. Everybody brings up the horror story. But to go back what you're saying, I don't see that happening either. I see where there could be at some point a minor correction. When I say minor, like 10%. My crystal ball is broken. I can't say 100%. But I'd say, but we have risen from the average in the low 300s, which was about a year and a half ago, and now we're in the lower 400s. I mean, that's a jump. So if that decreased, I would guess it would put us around the 390s. You know what I mean? But it's not like it's just going to change. I mean, yeah, this is what you're seeing.
And you got all these baby boomers all over the United States that are living in high net worth areas that, you know, unfortunately, for one reason or another, they cannot afford to retire there. So they're looking for places like Vegas in order to come in and invest their money and put their money away. So, yeah.
True.
Even though the prices of house raised overall, the city's pretty inexpensive. It's pretty easy living. Like you're living out there in New Jersey, it's out of control what you pay for everything. It's just completely ridiculous.
And that's it. In New York and you know, in California, you got state taxes and.
I mean, you could make, if you're smart and you're not stuck into gambling and partying and everything else, you can make 50 grand in the city and still be really comfortable. You can make 6 figures in the city, make 100 grand, and you have a really good life. Yeah. Over in Jersey, you're making 100 grand, it's like barely getting by. Yeah. It's like, in 6 figures, it's like, oh, I'm sorry for you. You know, it's just a whole different animal. It's like you're not doing much on that at all. Yeah, it's definitely different. So we live in a good place. It's super awesome. So definitely, we're happy to have you here, Robert.
Thank you,
Rock
thank you.
and rolling, definitely. So tell us a little bit more where people can find you, get their taxes done, start their business credit, where to put their money and make it grow. Where would it be? How would they find you?
Well, they can find me at myplantaxes.com, which is the name of my company. And I'm at by Sahara and Rainbow. I have my office up there right now. And yeah, they could find my number there, or you can call me at 702-927-6976. And that's my personal number. So if you really need to talk to me, you can call me there. My other number is in the website, which is my business number. By the way, I don't answer a number after 6 o'clock.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't call me after 6. I'm out. And I'm out, literally. I don't answer the phone.
Johnny Richardson,
Yeah.
Johnny can call me.
I'll blow his phone up.
Yeah.
I got a question. We were at the car dealership a couple weeks ago on a Saturday. It's like 7 o'clock. I'm like, pick up. He's like, I'm on hole 9. I don't care what hole you're on. You're picking on my call.
Sure did.
That's the truth. But that's your man right there. Business credit, taxes. You heard it already. He's very educated. We trust in him. We work with him 100%. So check him out. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.
See y'all later.
See ya.
Shaking It Up with the Sharks. Starring Johnny Richardson and Katie Meadows.